Will the present heaven and earth be redeemed from decay and bondage in this particular way? By fire? Will there be a cleansing by fire? Some have thought of a forest fire. How a forest fire, how the fires in California that we read about, or the fires in British Columbia, can destroy so much territory, including homes and the livelihood of people. But yet out of those forest fires, new life rises up. Those little seeds in the ground, those acorns from the oak tree that are burned and then come to life again, and trees will come after the forest fire, and new life will come. Some people believe, as Paul speaks about it in Romans chapter 8, and you can look at those passages, that there will be a period of time when this present earth will be redeemed and restored from the bondage of decay. The air that we breathe, the ground that we walk on, the water that we drink that has been polluted over time, all of the evidences of decay, the resources we extract from the earth, the oil and the gold and the nickel and the copper, that God in His powerful and supernatural way can restore all of these things. But we need to heed the word of the Lord. Heaven and earth are presently, and we're part of that bondage and process of decay. Whatever method God uses with fire, that's what the word specifically says. And we can be sure that that will happen. Fourthly, the second coming of Christ and the promise of a new heaven and earth require constant preparation. Constant preparation. Listen to the words of Peter. In light of all of these things, says Peter, what kind of people should you be? You ought to live godly and holy lives. Make every effort to be found spotless, blameless, and at peace with Him until He comes and until He establishes this new heaven and this new earth. We have seen a great example of constant preparation. And I was looking for a place in this message to talk a little bit about this, to be truthful with you. How has Canada prepared for the 2010 Winter Olympics over the past 4 years, and even before that when they submitted their bid to have the Olympics in Canada again? Well, they have done some interesting things. They've had the Own the Podium program, if some of you have been following it on television. They've had the B10 program where they've encouraged businesses to invest in 2010 and to invest in our Canadian athletes. There has been so much preparation in Vancouver, in British Columbia, the committee working there, the International Committee, Olympic Committee as well. They've been working hard to make sure that everything would be ready for the Olympics and for our Canadian athletes to ascend to the podium. Dear friends, you're looking awfully serious. I know that we're not all Canadians here. We may not all have the same kind of affection for this country as others. But did you know that Canada has now won 13 gold medals? That's more than any other country in these Olympics. There might be one more this afternoon. We won't get into that. They've won 7 silver and 5 bronze, 25 medals to date. But that has come with a lot of preparation on the part of the athletes and on the part of the country, on the part of the organizers. They've had to do some tremendous things there in BC at places like Cypress Mountain to keep enough snow up there in this warm spell to make it all happen. Constant preparation. That was just about 4 years of preparation. But how much preparation do we need to be involved in for the day of the Lord, for the coming of Christ, for the new heaven and the new earth? You see, our lives are very uncertain here. How much time do we have to prepare for this great event? Does anyone know? You better be ready. Don't take a chance. Because some of us might have 10 years to prepare. Some of us might have 25 years. Some of us might have 80 years or more. Somebody showed me a picture of their godmother this morning. That was Marjorie. She was at Rappeljay Lodge with 4 other ladies, and they were all over 100, celebrating the birthday of another lady in the group. 104, 103, 102, and 101. Well, they've had a long time to prepare for the next step. Some time ago, a few years ago, we found out in Wainfleet where our great-great-grandfather was buried. His tombstone is in the Wilson Cemetery up along number 3 highway just west of Chambers Corners. And it would tell us that the James Robert Gilmore came from Ireland, and he was born in 1812 and he died in 1886. His earthly remains are there in that cemetery. I expect to occupy a little piece of real estate in a cemetery also in Wainfleet where my earthly remains will be kept. When I think of those realities, because all of us someday will have a tombstone perhaps or a burial spot, we'll come and go. And for the years to follow, some people might remember us, and others might forget about us. But what we did with our lives while we were still living is what is really important. Does it make a difference how we live while we're here? Yes, it does. It makes a difference both now and forever. Does integrity and faithfulness in our lives matter? Does how we treat other people matter? Does how we care for our children make a difference? Does what we do behind closed doors in the private moments of our lives matter? Does how we serve, does how we pray, how we spend our money, how we give or don't give, does it really matter? Does it make a difference? Jesus indicates that it does. He says in Matthew 25, if you give just a cup of cold water in my name, you have done it to one of the least of these, my brethren, one of these less fortunate people in the world, because Jesus identifies with them. If you clothe the naked in my name, it's like you did it unto me. So how we live does make a difference.